Okay, imagine this. You're deep in the dense, quiet jungles of Gombak, Malaysia. Sunlight is struggling to even get through the trees. And there, hidden away, is a forgotten kingdom. It's a place where laughter used to fill the air, but now there's only silence. This is the incredible story of Mimaland.
And that's really the big question here, isn't it? How does a place that was basically paradise become a real-life nightmare? We're going to dig into how Malaysia's greatest dream park literally turned into a Jurassic graveyard, a place people talk about with both happy memories and, well, some pretty chilling ghost stories.
So to really understand what Mimaland was, we have to start with what it is today. We need to walk through its ruins where you can see that nature has pretty forcefully taken back what it lost. If you could get there, and you can't, legally, the first thing you'd see is this: a rusted gate, just tangled up in the roots of these huge old trees. Hard to believe, but this was the grand entrance, the gateway to this world of fun that welcomed thousands of families. Now, it's just a silent guard to a world that's completely lost. And if you go deeper inside, its most famous resident is still standing there, a life-sized T-Rex. This thing was once a huge thrill. Kids were so excited to get their picture with it. But now, it's just covered in moss, strangled by vines. It honestly looks less like a park attraction and more like a monster that the jungle itself is just slowly eating. Think about the sounds of a theme park. The screams of delight from the water slides, the cheerful music playing everywhere. Yeah, all of that is just gone. That whole soundtrack of happiness has been replaced by the buzz of insects and maybe, just maybe, the roar of a wild animal. It's a really eerie silence, and it totally sets the stage for a pretty tragic story. Okay, but before all this decay, before the ruin, there was the dream. So let's jump back in time, back to the 1970s, when Minimaland was this shining symbol of a young nation's ambition and just pure joy. So the name itself, Mimaland, it's short for Malaysia In Miniature Land. When it opened back in 1971, this wasn't just another park. Get this, it was the country's very first theme park, a massive 300-acre marvel built right into the hills of Gombak. For a whole generation, this place was absolute magic. And wow, its rise was just meteoric. After it opened in '71, it almost instantly became this huge cultural thing. Through the '70s and '80s, going to Mimaland wasn't just a fun day out, it was a status symbol. It was a core childhood memory for pretty much an entire generation of Malaysians. And it's so easy to see why it was so popular. I mean, Mimaland had everything. It had what was said to be the largest swimming pool in all of Southeast Asia, with this legendary giant water slide. But the real star of the show, the prehistoric animal kingdom. This was way before the Jurassic Park movie. Mimaland brought dinosaurs to life. You could even go boating or stay overnight in these fancy chalets. It was the whole resort experience. But you know how it goes. Every golden age has to come to an end. By the early 1990s, Mimaland was at the absolute height of its glory, totally unaware that a series of, well, catastrophic events were about to kick off and seal its fate for good. Now, the park's downfall wasn't some slow, drawn-out thing. It was basically the result of two distinct fatal blows that happened just over a year apart. One shattered its reputation, and the other shattered its very foundation. The first blow was an absolute tragedy. In January of 1993, a young tourist from Singapore drowned after using that giant slide. You can imagine the incident just exploded in the media, and suddenly people were asking really serious questions about the park's safety. For the very first time, the name Mimaland wasn't associated with joy. It was associated with danger. And then came 1994. This was the year that nature itself delivered the final, irreversible blow. So after a period of really heavy monsoon rains, a landslide just tore through the park. A massive wall of mud and rocks and debris just slammed right into the giant swimming pool area. It destroyed the walls, cracked the foundation, and it turned the park's crown jewel into a muddy, disgusting swamp. That landslide was the end. That was it. The park was shut down, and for the last 30 years, a completely new kind of kingdom has risen up from its ruins. You know, the irony is just heartbreaking. The sign on the gate actually said temporarily closed for repairs, but after legal battles and safety checks, It became clear the land was just too unstable. That temporary closure, it became permanent. The gate was locked in May of 1994, and it has not been opened for anyone since. The contrast between then and now it's staggering. That pool, which was once this sparkling blue oasis filled with life and music, is now a murky, stagnant green pond. That giant slide, the source of so many thrills, is just a rusted, broken skeleton. It's the perfect picture of the park's journey from life to decay. So you get all these urban explorers and ghost hunters who are drawn to the park, but the biggest threat there? It's not supernatural. First off, it's private property, so trespassing is illegal. But more importantly, the area has become a wildlife sanctuary, and we're not talking about small animals. Authorities have warned that Malayan tigers, leopards, and wild boars are roaming the grounds. The real danger in Mimaland is very, very alive. So what is Mimaland today? It's not just a pile of ruins. It's a powerful cultural memory, a place that's kind of living a double life in the minds of Malaysians. And this is where the legacy gets so fascinating. For the generation that actually went there, Mimaland is this cherished, happy, nostalgic memory. But for younger generations who've only seen pictures of the ruins online, it's a haunted, creepy legend. The exact same place holds two completely opposite meanings. And of course, a place like this is just a magnet for spooky stories. Local folklore talks about forest spirits called Orang Banyan taking back their home. People who've trespassed have claimed they've heard ghostly laughter near the old pool. And maybe the weirdest part? Every single plan to redevelop this land for the last 30 years has mysteriously failed for one reason or another. There's this one quote that just captures the whole theme perfectly. It really says it all. Humanity built this pretend king, the T-Rex, but in the end, it was absolutely no match for the power of the real, living jungle, which is now just slowly grinding it back into the earth. So when you boil it all down, Milamland's story is really about two powerful forces. It's this stunning, kind of scary example of nature's relentless ability to take back whatever we build. But at the same time, it's a testament to the enduring power of memory. It proves that even when a place is physically gone, its story can live on, well, forever. And that leaves us with this one last thought. Mimaland, the park, is dead. There's no question. But Mimaland, the legend, that's more alive than ever. It really makes you wonder what happens when our grandest creations are gone, but the stories they created simply refuse to die.